Hi y'all, welcome back to the channel, The Scent Diaries. This is Heather. So as I'm sure you can tell from the title, this is going to be a little bit different than what we've done before. I will be reviewing a fragrance, and I'm also going to be telling a little bit of the story or multiple stories of hauntings that I've experienced. So I guess I don't know if you should call it hauntings or haunting because I think it was the same thing, but this is over different households. So we'll get into that. We're going to do the review first. Today we're actually going to do something a little different. It's not going to be a spring scent. It's going to be a gourmand because even though it's the first day of March and it was sunny like this morning, it's gotten a little gloomy now and it's kind of cold still. So I want to do something a little more like cuddly. So what we're gonna be reviewing today is sugared cherry crisp with some super cute packaging. I like the chalkboard and like the realistic print of the pie there. Now this one does not have any scent notes or like little story on the back, so I won't be able to read that to you. I'm sure you could find them online if you really wanted to know. Um, get a good whiff of this. Let it air out a little bit. I love this one. I could see, I have heard that some people don't like this one because they think it has that like cough syrupy sort of cherry in it. And I could kind of see how that might be what you get from this because it does have this like sweet, almost a little sickly sweet cherry in it. Like I can totally see the cough medicine bit, and normally I would hate that. Like I do not, no, I'm not into that at all. But for some reason, this one is really good. It doesn't. It's got like this like pie crust gourmand, uber sweet graham crackery sort of note with the cherry that keeps it from smelling like medicine because medicine doesn't have that sweet graham crackery, crust note in it. It's not uber strong, but it is pretty unique. I don't have any other scents really that smell like this. Scent power, the lasting power is body mist lasting power. It's not like a powerhouse or anything like that. And this one I actually did have to order from eBay or Mercari because by the time I was getting into Bath and Body Works, it was no longer available. I don't think they've ever brought this one back as far as I'm aware. It does have flowers on it. I don't know if there's like cherry blossoms. I don't really get anything floral in this. It's like that super sweet, almost syrupy cherry and that crumbly graham cracker pie crust mixed together with maybe some like brown sugar or something on top of it. It's so good. It really is. It's just like warm, inviting, cuddly, fruity, just different. It really is. It's one of my favorites in my collection, especially because it's so sought after. It's a very desired, discontinued scent. So even for that alone, I just enjoy having it in my collection because I like, having those rare little one-offs every once in a while. So yeah, not too much to really say about girl over here. She's good if you like cherry, if you like sweet, you'll like her. Maybe if you even if you don't necessarily like cherry, you might want to give her a try because of that extra sweet note. Like she's not like um, Perfect in Pink. Perfect in Pink is I like it. I actually do. I'm starting to get more into the cherry scents, but it is a bright cherry, like pop 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 cherry. Like it's not like a gourmand. soft, sweet cherry. It's like an in your face, this is a cherry scent. But it's more of a fresh kind of cherry. We'll do a review on that one as well. But yeah, if you're trying to get yourself into cherry scents and you already like sweet scents, this might be a good one for you to give a go. And I know you have to blind buy it, but like what I do, if I blind buy something and I don't like it, I just resell it. And a lot of times these scents, like you can sell them for more than you bought them for, depending on when you get it, if it's been discontinued since then. For instance, like Wrapped in Vanilla and Blush Cardigan, I bought those when they were on the like 425. It was like the lowest sale I've ever seen them do mists. It was like last year, like 425 or something crazy low. They do for like 495 every once in a while, but that was the first time I've ever seen it that low. Bought two Wrapped in Vanillas and one of the Blush Cardigans, and now I could sell either of those for like $30 minimum. The one I have, the one I haven't used, the backup of Wrapped in Vanilla, I can probably sell for like 40, and make some good money. But I don't want to sell it. I love those scents. They're some of my favorites. I will review those down the line. So I'll probably, not sell them. But if I ever did need to, sometimes you can make money off of these. Hmm. I just love it. And when it dries down, you get less of that like in your face, sickly sweet cherry, and you get more of the gourmand notes. So yeah, that one's pretty good. But yeah, let's move on to the second part of our little video here. First, I'll have to give you some background. We've moved around, or we did move around quite a bit when I was a kid. I've got three blood siblings and two step siblings. So this is pre step siblings. This is pre even, my father meeting my stepmother. Those people were not in our lives at this time. This is like early childhood. From the ages of like birth to about 2, we lived in Hermitage. I obviously don't remember if anything occurred in that house. It could have, and I just don't remember it because I was so young. And then we moved to Bethpage from like 2 to like 6 ish. And that house, I don't distinctly remember anything actually happening, but I do remember having like a fear, like an unnatural, abnormal fear. Even as a child, I was afraid to do anything like by myself. I couldn't take a shower by myself. I couldn't go to the bathroom by myself. I couldn't sleep by myself. Like, that's not really normal. And I was raised in a very Christian household. It's not like my parents were letting me watch scary movies or anything like that. So, like, why was I so afraid? I don't know, but I don't distinctly remember anything like a specific incident. And then at 6, up until 14, we moved to Springfield, and that is a house that most of the stories are going to be at. That is a house where I'm gonna get creeped out talking about it. I had to bring the dogs in here because I was like afraid to talk about this. I'm not kidding. It's just I drop my phone every time. But yeah, it's creepy. And this house, I don't remember. I'm not gonna necessarily remember the order things happened in. Things might be out of order, or you know not 100% accurate because I was a child. It has been years. We didn't like record any of this, so I can't look back at it. I'm just gonna go off of my best memory, from what I can remember of the order and how things happened. And it's not all going to be in one go. I'm just going to talk today about a little bit of background information, and then probably I think the first incident that we started like realizing something was going on. So we had a lot of issues, like if you know anything about hauntings or demonic activity, there's like signs of it, like classic signs. One would be temperature changes, walking into rooms and it's really cold in there, or walking into rooms and it's really hot in there. And that changing or not matching the season, that sort of thing. And then also electrical disturbances, like lights would turn on and off. The TVs would turn on when no one was home. Like, I distinctly remember one time we had this den, and on two sides of the den are like this big, like windows, so you can see pretty much into the whole room. and I would have to walk on the sidewalk around the outside of it to come from my grandmother's house, which was next door. And we were all going over to my grandmother's house, so like no one was in our house. And when we were coming back, we were coming around that room and we looked in, and the TV was on, and we were like, "That's weird," because like we didn't leave the TV on, when we left, but okay. And then we come around, the corner, go around to the back, get inside, TV's off. So it was only on for a split second when no one was in the house. And just things like that, radios would just randomly turn on in the middle of the night, or TVs, lights flickering, just things like that that just were creepy, but by themselves wouldn't necessarily mean anything, but as a whole, these things add up. Also, another sign of demonic activity is sulfur. The smell of sulfur, just sulfur in general. And my dad was like a doomsdayer kind of guy, and Y2K was hitting, and he was nervous about, the computer shutting down and the store shutting down, and all of that. So he built a well outside. He spent all this time and effort and probably money to get this well built, but we couldn't actually use any of the water because, come to find out, all of the water in the well is sulfur water and it stinks. And so apparently, sulfur is just in the ground at this location. This is in Robertson County, by the way. Robertson County, Springfield. Which, if you know anything about there, that's where the Bell Witch is from, the Bell family, all of that, which supposedly I've heard we're distantly somehow related to them. I have no idea if that's true, so take that with a grain of salt. But we did live in Robertson County for a hot minute of my childhood, and that's where that story's from. So I just thought that was unique. And then there's sulfur on the property. So just, things like that. And my main issue was having night terrors. I would have a recurring dream, and I had this dream for years. I mean, literally years. Like, probably the entire time that we lived in this home, I had the same dream where basically was being pulled under the bed by a demon. Where I would like wake up in the dream, jump out of bed, and try to, get out of the room, and something would grab me and pull me under the bed. So I had that dream all the time. And I would also, not just me, all of the kids, we would wake up randomly at the middle of the night, which now, looking back, it was probably like 2 to 3, because that's the time when things are most active of this nature. And we would just be scared out of our minds, like hair on end, heart beating out of our chest, feeling like something is in the room with us and we have to get out now. And my sister, oh my gosh, I shared a room with my sister, and she would wake up and get scared, and she would just go to our parents' room without me. She wouldn't wake me up or nothing. Like, when I woke up, I'd wake her up and be like, "We gotta go." Like, I don't even want to walk up the stairs by myself. Like, you're coming with me, And she wouldn't do that. She wouldn't wake me up. So I would wake up by myself in this room downstairs, in the dark, freaked out. Like, no, I didn't hear anything, I didn't see anything, but it's just your body knows when something like that is going on. And it was just fight or flight instantly, like as soon as I woke up, and I would fly off of my bed, jump as far from the edge of the bed as I could because I was so scared something was going to pull me under. And then race up the stairs like my life depended on it, because I would have to go like through the living room, which was dark, and then the kitchen was like not attached, but it didn't have a door. It was just like an open big doorway, and it was pitch black in there. So freaked out, and I would run as fast as I could up the stairs. I would also sleepwalk. I woke up in different parts of the house several times, wake up like in the den or in the living room, places that I would never sleep alone because I was so scared. Like, it's not like I woke up and was like, I'm gonna go sleep in the dark den by myself. I would just fall asleep in my bed, and I'd wake up in the den in the middle of the night by myself. And yeah, that was awful, very scary. My brother experienced, I think, the most of it, because his bedroom, um, it was such a weird room. So you go upstairs and you could either go to the right or to the left. If you went to the left, it was my parents' bedroom, normal bedroom. If you went to the right, it was like this room that had no windows. The roof was like tapered into like a T, so it was like an attic looking room. And the weirdest thing about it was that if you go straight back into the room, there's this door at the back, and it had like a lock on it and everything. But if you get back in there, it's like an actual attic. Like you have to walk on boards not to like fall through the, through the ceiling. And that's where my parents would keep like their Christmas stuff and whatnot, and they would keep a lock on it, which was creepy. But it also, as soon as you walked in the room, if you went to the right and the left, there was two smaller doors, like little tiny like kid doors, that also had locks on them that would lead to crawl spaces, on either side of the room that went the entire length of the room and connected to that big room in the back, where that other door was. So it would be like you've got this room that's like a teepee sort with no windows, and then next to it these little crawl spaces inside the walls that go all the way back to this other bigger room. And whatever it was lived back there. That's like where its station stayed. It went all over the house, but it lived in that room. And so my brother's room, which was in the main, tent part with the no windows, is basically surrounded by the area that this thing resides. So I think that's why he really experienced, the most of it. What I remember, I think, was probably the first instance that I think was like kind of serious. I actually, this isn't my story. This is his story and my mom's story. We were told about this later, or maybe we woke up in the night because of the commotion. I don't know if they told us, or if, I don't know exactly how I found out about it, but I wasn't there exactly when this happened. I'll get to my, personal, experiences, as we go along, but I'll also tell my siblings because we all experienced different things at different times, or sometimes at the same time. You'll understand as we go. But we were, informed that he had woken up in the middle of the night, running into my mom's room, screaming and crying because he said some evil demonic voice, was laughing in his ceiling, and that's what he woke up to. There was that evil laugh sound. And, she's thinking, oh, my son had a nightmare or something, but she goes in there because she wants to comfort him and, just make sure everything's fine. She said as soon as she walked in the room, every hair just stood on end. Like she suddenly, like hit by a brick wall, realized that this is not a dream. This is not just something he's telling me. Something is in this room. And she was a very Christian woman. Like she was the person that this thing, I think, was afraid of, because she just was not, playing any games. She was handling her business. She would be rebuking it in the name of Jesus. Get out of my house, praying over the bedroom. And she was the one we felt most safe around, especially because later on, I think we started to realize that it, like, I think my personal opinion is that it was attached to my dad. So obviously, he's not going to protect us from the thing that he's attached to or he's bringing in, you know. I don't think it followed us like from a different house. I think somehow my dad moving into that house like opened something up. And You'll understand that. I'll explain more as we go along because, the people who lived in there before us never said anything about it. My cousin moved into that house as soon as we moved out. Still lives there to this day, and she's had a couple like weird things. I've actually experienced a couple strange things just being back in that house since she's lived in it. But nothing compared to like what happened when we lived there, and since my dad's moved out of that house, and then the house he lives in now, that we moved in immediately after this first house in Springfield. It's in Ashland City. There's things that happen in that house, so it just seems like it's kind of following him. Although it was never, I think it's the person and the place. I think it's attached to him, or he, something about him being in the house brought this out more. But it was never as active again at the new house or anything like that. We did experience some crazy things, which I'll get into. I actually saw more at the new house, but it didn't feel the way that the Springfield house felt. The Springfield house felt creepy, like so eerie. I did not like it. But yeah, that's the first story. Was that my brother waking up, scream crying that something evil was laughing in his room. So that's what we'll end it today. I don't know how long these let me film for, anyways. So we'll just leave it at that. And tomorrow, not tomorrow, whenever I do the next video, we'll move on to the next scenario, which actually was still about my brother mainly because, of course, he's living in the room that this thing is in. But also, this one involved all of us siblings. So Yeah, we'll just end it there today. I hope that y'all have a wonderful weekend, and God bless.